Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Hormones in Harmony podcast. Today I'm joined by Alex Dudgon, which is Cassie. If you know Cassie Aurora, she's been on the podcast episode, I think 4 times now. She is a friend of mine. This is her fiance. So Alex Dudgon is also the founder of the Soul Medicine Festival, which I'll be speaking at this year. And we'll talk much more about that in today's episode. And this is a holistic health and wellness events company with the intention to inspire, empower, and uplift people. The events are also an opportunity to explore spirituality through various practices and music from a range of ancient traditions. They have a weekend camping event, this is the one that I'll be going to, in springtime this year from the 26th to 29th of May, which I'm very excited about. Alex is also a meditation teacher. He studied both the Hindu style tradition of meditation in India and more recently the Japanese Zen style. He has over 20 recorded meditations on both the Insight Timer and Aura meditation apps, both available in the App Store, and you can search his name to find them. And he has studied in the cryptocurrency space as well as being vocal against lockdowns and medical mandates. So we cover each of these subjects in more detail, plus a few others like his experience with parenthood. Him and Cassie had their daughter Bonnie about 18 months ago now it'll be. And yeah, they are sharing their wisdom with me because I'm asking about any advice for when that finally happens to me in a few years' time. And we cover a few other things as well, like how he's going to hopefully raise Bonnie to be the best human that she can be in this modern world. And a few other things as well, like his experience with psychedelics, his spiritual awakening. So we cover a few different things, but it was a really fun chat. And we always get into some fun subjects anyway. So I wanted to record and share with you to also promote the event for him as well. So I'm going to be doing a talk on the Saturday and Sunday. I spoke at the event in Himley in 2022 as well. That was around summertime, which went really well. Some of you might have found me through that because I did a talk on women's health and obviously plugged the podcast. So if that's you, hello. And because I wasn't running the podcast then. But yeah, let's get straight into the episode. I hope you love it, and definitely go and follow Alex and his work. And if you're in the UK, I'm going to be traveling a little bit to get there, but definitely come and join us at the Soul Medicine Festival. Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm interviewing Alex Dudgon on a few different subjects, but before we get into it, I want Alex to, if you will, cover a little bit more about your journey. If you want to cover like health stuff, work stuff, life stuff, because I know that you have a few different tools in your tool belt and you're passionate about many different things like I am as well. But just to let the audience know a little bit more about you before we get into some subjects a bit more, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, thanks for having me on. I've been wanting to come on your podcast.
I know. I've had Cassie on, so I might have mentioned this in the intro, but Alex is Cassie's fiance. You might be married by the time I release. Oh no, it'll be before the wedding.
Just before.
Yeah, so this is Cassie's fiance, just as a heads up.
Yeah.
And Cassie has been on many times. I think she's been on like 4 times now. So it's about time we had
you really on.
Yeah,
she's hugging the limelight. It's about time I took over for it.
And I think you have a great podcast voice as well. I don't know if anyone's ever told you, but just your voice in general is just very like calming.
Okay. Well, yeah, I teach meditation. I do a lot of online meditation, so I get that a lot. I haven't had it for podcasting, but yeah, I've had a lot of people say for meditation it's pretty calm. So yeah, my journey, like you say, a lot of different passions, and that's kind of why I ended up going down the festival route, I think, because I thought, I enjoy teaching meditation. I love live music. I'm really into holistic health. And for me to kind of just pick one thing and go like that, I don't know, I haven't got that personality. I kind of get bored of things. So with this, I thought there's loads of little different skill sets and passions that I can kind of bring together. So I think that's why I've ended up where I am. But yeah, my background. How far do you want me to go in?
As much detail as you want. Like, we've got all the time in the world.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll go to the start of my kind of journey with this. Actually, I'll go to the very start. So it was about 2012. I was about 21 then. I had really bad depression. So I did a placement year in between my second and third year of uni. And I was addicted to cannabis and a few other little issues going. And I had real bad depression. Like I couldn't string two positive thoughts together. It was actually quite scary at times and just strange because I'd always been, relatively happy-go-lucky kind of guy before then. It got to the point where I'd have my breakfast and I'd throw it back up just from being anxious about the day ahead or whatever. So I managed to snap myself out of that. Um, and I kind of built myself back from there, went traveling, did all this cool stuff. But still, I was drinking a lot on weekends, and not there's anything massively wrong with that. But still had that kind of escape element. And then I lost my dad to cancer about 5 years ago. And during that time, I was his carer for the last kind of 3 or 4 months because I was coming back from Australia. And that was just a really kind of intense experience all around, but a lot of kind of growth in there. Like I had to grow up very quickly because I was, pretty immature, I'd say, before then. Just love partying, whatever. So yeah, and then when he actually passed, I had two mystical experiences. So I'm glad you said that you've had people that talk about this kind of thing on here
Yeah,
because
Alex asked me beforehand, he was like, how much can I share on here? And I'm like, just go for it. We've had all sorts of crazy stories, so it's welcome.
yeah, that's it. And I'm sure some people think it's rubbish, but I'm sure a lot of people are on that wavelength and will be open to it. So 2 nights before my dad passed, I was lying in my bed, never experienced anything like this before. I just woke up in the middle of the night, like really alert. At the end of the bed, there was like this black angel with its wings spread, kind of like looking down on me. And it was just for about a minute, and then I sort of like blacked out and fell back to sleep. Didn't really think anything of it because I knew my dad was on his last legs and there's all that going on, so I didn't really think about it at the time. And a couple of days later, he passed. And then 2 nights after he passed, same thing happened again. Woke up in the night, and there was like this kind of skeleton figure with the same mannerisms as my dad. That kind of walked across the end of the bed, sat cross-legged, and was just smiling at me. And it was like he was saying, he's in this next kind of realm or whatever you want to call it, and saying I'm all good. And there was like a really just nice feeling about the whole thing.
And this wasn't influenced by any like cannabis, psychedelics, anything like that?
No, I wasn't really doing anything around then. I was barely like drinking or anything, just because I was looking after my dad and trying to keep a clear head. So yeah, like I said, I never experienced anything like it before, but after that, obviously I thought, well, I had a really kind of atheist upbringing and always thought in that sense. So I was like, wow, this is like opened up a whole new world. I'm pretty sure there's something more to life, if you like. And then I got into meditation because it was kind of like a bridge between both, starting a spiritual path and a way to kind of cope with my dad's death because, obviously loved him a lot and we're real close. And then I had just a lot of kind of synchronistic experiences after that. And I got into health more naturally because I think watching my dad die, you realise like how precious life is and how fragile the body is if you don't look after it. Because my dad was actually quite a health conscious person overall, but there's still little things like he did drink quite a bit and things like that. So yeah.
And in
That
terms of
was the kind of
meditation, have you had more experiences with like visualization, or do you feel like you're tapping into your intuition more?
Yeah, I think intuition's a big one.
And how do you feel that? Is it like a gut feeling, or do you see things? Are you more of like a visual person?
Not so much really. I'll just have weird moments where like, I don't know, like happened to me this morning. I was wake up really early, like 4 or 5 a.m. and it feels like I'm getting some kind of like download, if you like, but it's not really visual. But around that time after my dad, I did have visuals. Like sometimes I'd meditate and I'd see like an eye staring back at me and things like that. I
It can
don't
be a
seem
little
to
bit
get that
scary,
as
can't
much.
it?
Yeah.
I actually went to a psychic yesterday. I told my mum and dad, well, I told my mum, my dad would just be like, that is such a waste of money, but my mum's a little bit more open. So I went to a psychic, and the first thing he said was like, you're very gifted, like you're psychic as well. And you see kind of messages through your dreams, which is quite true because I've had some
Okay.
recent experiences. And I never used to dream, but he said that I did, I just don't remember them, which is common. So yeah, I know
Yeah.
some people like hear things, some people see things, some people it's just like this gut feeling. But do you think that intuition is something that you're born with, or these gifts are something that everyone has, or can you strengthen them?
I think it's a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
With like most things, I think you have like a natural ability, and also I think you can definitely tune it. Meditation, um, eating healthily, anything that kind of cleanses you physically and mentally, I think keeps you more in tune. Connecting with nature, things like grounding, just going on nature walks. I think anything like that that keeps you just more in tune of our true essence is going to help with your intuition.
Mm-hmm. I'm just intrigued, like what was it that you studied at uni? Is that anything to do with
Marketing.
marketing? Okay.
Marketing. So
Yeah.
that was a funny journey actually, because I just literally after school wanted to study something that was kind of had lots of jobs at the end of it, kind of out of fear really. I picked that. Um, but at least there was a bit of creativity with it, so I went down that route. Um, but then as I was doing it, I was like, God, this is quite soulless. Some of it's all like about psychology, how to
Mm,
like manipulate people to buy you things, whatever. But now looking back, I'm kind of glad that I did it, because it's come in handy with marketing, like my
yeah.
festivals, my meditations, my crypto community, all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So yeah, I'm quite
Exactly. And you've
glad I
had
went down
to
that route.
probably work on your like managing skills as well, like all of these different events and stuff. So yeah, let's cover that first, more about the
Yeah.
events. You said that's why you decided to do them in the first place, is because you just love so many things and you just wanted to bring
Mm.
everything together. And you ran, I think, was it the first time in 2022?
Yeah, so I did some
Festival?
events back in 2019, but they're a little
Okay.
bit different. I was really into veganism then, as you know, because I've worked with Vivian,
Mm-hmm.
by the way. She persuaded me to get back on the meat, and I thank you for that, because my health is a lot better now.
Wow, good.
And
I think you knew, I think you were kind of just like asking permission, like a lot of people do. You just needed that nudge to go for it.
I don't
Like,
know. I know. I think I was like still well in that mindset then, but you kind of like snapped me
mm-hmm.
out of it.
Yeah,
So
good. Your
yeah,
body's thanking you.
yeah. And without giving too much away, being too open, a big thing was my sex drive. Like I
Mm-hmm.
lost it towards the end of veganism. Like I think at veganism at the start, you do feel a bit better. Maybe it's like a bit of a cleansing diet in a way. Then I think a lot of the good feeling is kind of like adrenaline, because
Mm-hmm.
you're not fully
Your body's just stressed, isn't it?
body's in stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so after about a year, the last year, I started to notice a lot of effects. And when I would smell like fish and things like that, my whole body was like yearning for it. So I did start to question it before, things like
Mm.
that. So I was like, okay, my body's clearly telling me something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we worked together. We did some testing, didn't we? We figured things out, and I think it was a slow transition to like fully changing your diet. But yeah, I'm glad that you've made that switch. But yeah, with your festivals and stuff, so you ran some initially, but were they more like vegan community
Yeah, it
thing?
was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that way. And then I was going to change it to a more holistic health event, but then lockdowns happened,
Mm-hmm.
so I couldn't do anything for a couple of years. So when I brought it back this year in June, yeah, I made it much more about holistic health. So yeah, we have like yoga classes, meditation, sound baths, lots of different talks. We have Vivian there talking about hormones, um, more kind of psychological stuff. You can go down the spiritual route there, different workshops. So it's kind of like real mix really.
And can you share the dates for this year, so 2023? I'm at the one in May. Is it May? End of May, like the bank holiday. I'll be doing a
Yeah,
talk on Saturday. That one is going to be on parasites, so gut health, how parasites can be affecting us, signs, and kind of overview of treatment. And then the Sunday, the second day that I'm going to be there, because I'm going to be camping, which is fun. On the Sunday, I'm doing it on like female hormones, syncing with your menstrual cycle. So really excited. And I spoke at the last one as well in 2022 and had really good feedback from that one. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So even if someone attended that last one, I'm sure a lot of the different talks and the event was just amazing anyway. So it'd be fun to just go back. And we had some really great weather, didn't we, that last time? So fingers crossed, but it'll still be fun in the rain.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we've got plenty of kind of undercover spaces, so it'll be all good either way. But yeah, the camp out one is the 26th to the 29th of May this year. So it's the bank holiday weekend, and all the activities are on the Saturday and Sunday.
Amazing. And then is there one later in the year as well?
There's one earlier, so there's a single day event back at Himley Hall on the 30th of April. Done that because there's a lot more indoor space then. Because obviously April's a little bit cooler, so it doesn't affect it as much. And then we've got a new venue on the 22nd of July called Hartlebury Castle. So that's a pretty epic venue actually.
And I'm going to link to your website or anything that you want me to include in the show notes. So if people want to learn a little bit more, they can just follow the links. But yeah, I'm really excited, and I just got to like browse some of the stalls, and the food was great last time. And the live music was amazing as well. And Cassie sang for us all. And that's the first time I've heard her sing. She has like an amazing voice. So is she going to do that again?
I'm not sure. I think she's going to focus on the homeopathy this time. But yeah, she's an incredible singer. Funny story with that. So when I said I did vegan events before, she was a performer at one of our events.
Oh.
And I'd only been with her like 2 months. And she said, oh, you should put me on the lineup and everything. And I was like, oh God, she might not be any good. And I thought, I can't say no, like I just started seeing her. So I put her on. And I had a business partner at the time, and he was like, are you sure she's going to be any good? And she was like the best one easily. So
it all worked out.
She surprised me. It all worked out.
And are you going to do anything different this time around? Like, what have you learned? Did anything go wrong? Not that I didn't suspect anything went wrong, but in terms of like putting on a festival like this and managing so many things, have you learned anything? I'd just love to know. Like,
yeah, I've learned a lot actually. I learned a bit of that Himley one, but we did another one in Shropshire later in 2022. I learned loads from that. And I kind of like make sure I go around and talk to people and get feedback and just say, look, you can say anything you want to me, like, because that's how you learn and grow the event. So yeah, just loads of little things really. A big thing, because at the moment we had the live music and all the stuff going on at the same time. So the live music kind of got lost because most people are there to learn about holistic health, do the workshops and whatnot. So the way I've worked it for the camp out is all the talks and activities and practices in the day, and then end all that about 4 o'clock, and then just the live music, because I think it's a nice way as well to kind of bring everyone together and bring that kind of community feel. Everyone kind of, have a sing and dance together, maybe just chill and chat. So I think that's going to work.
Yeah, maybe that couldn't have worked last time because you didn't have the whole evening, did you? Yeah, we had to be like in and out for set times and stuff. So it still worked great. And I was like laid on the grass right in front of the stage. So I'm not complaining about anything.
Yeah, that's it. Overall, it went really, really well. There was little things like organisation, the classes, but yeah, there are easy things to clear up this year.
So bigger and better for May 2023.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that one, I've got a much bigger budget to play with. It's a weekend event. We want to really evolve it, so we've got some bigger name music artists, things like that, just kind of growing it. And we've got a Bob Marley tribute band that I've seen before. They're epic. I'm a massive Bob Marley fan, so excited for that one. And I've tried to like kind of get music from different backgrounds, because like I said to you before, I've done ayahuasca. A couple of the performers, their music's very much influenced by that. So like from the South American tribes, that's cool. We've got a guy doing kirtan, which is like from the Hindu kind of background. So that's going to be cool. And yeah, it's just kind of giving people the opportunity to experience different cultures through music, I suppose.
That's so good. Yeah, I'll put the links, like I said, below. But I also want to ask about your experience with psychedelics, ayahuasca. I know you've done things like mushrooms and these different types of ceremonies. I have yet to try anything like that. I had such a bad experience the last time I tried cannabis. It did not go well. So that's kind of putting me off a little bit, but I've heard things like mushrooms, especially when done safely and controlled, can be like an amazing experience.
Yeah, that's it. And I am a massive advocate for it, but kind of like in a different way to how I used to be. I used to kind of be like, everyone should try it, whatever. But now I think about it in a more responsible way. Like, when you're ready to do it. I think it's important to do like personal development work before you do it, get into things like meditation, psychotherapy, whatever it might be, and then be in that kind of strong position to do it. Because there are people that kind of mess with it and they're not in that strong place, and then they become addicted to that, and it's like kind of like becomes an escape rather than a tool to grow and expand. So
yeah, they like need these ayahuasca ceremonies 3 times a year in order to like function in day-to-day life. That's not really a sign that you've healed, is it? It's just another addiction.
Yeah, exactly. So I've only been twice. I did it kind of 2.5 years apart. And I've kind of set that now. I think that's a nice time period to kind of integrate what I've learned, and that it's not a sort of like addiction then, if you like. So I'm going to go back about, was it this year? I don't know. It's this year or next.
Like, what day is it?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah, it's not a good advocation for psychedelics, is it? I don't know what day it is.
You have a lot on your plate. We can let you off for that.
Oh no, the turn of the year has been crazy. Like it was all quiet in December. Now everyone's like messaging me about the event, asking to get involved, customers asking questions. It's been mental, but exciting. So.
And something new that happened in the past, I think like 1.5 years, 2 years at this stage when the episode goes live, you have become a father. So I'm sure that has been a lot of learning lessons and also a lot of fun. So yeah, I just want to know for like my future self, when I decide to have kids, what you learned. Like, do you have any words of advice for me?
Yeah, sure. So, well, I'll try. Kind of like wing it and learn as you go. But going back to what we've been saying about, ayahuasca and the psychedelic experiences and the mystical experience of my dad. It's funny the way I think about it. Like, the 2 most spiritual experiences of my life was having a child, and my dad like dying, like the kind of death and birthing. I think they've kind of given me the biggest growth opportunities, if you like. And yeah, so I've done a lot of therapy the last couple of years, and we work with this kind of pyramid. So it's like self, other, and what's the top one now? What's the word when you're not clinging on to something?
Like detachment?
Detachment, loving detachment. That's it. Yeah. So obviously, as a bachelor, you think about others sometimes, but you can be stuck in that kind of self space. Having a child, you kind of pulled immediately into other because they're the priority. There's a huge shift in that sense, and yeah, it's just kind of opened my heart. I just feel like more compassionate to other people. Kind of see the inner child in people more and in myself. I don't know. I could talk all day about it, really. It's just the best thing that's happened to me, for sure.
And if you were to do it again in the future, anything that you would change?
Well, I'm only 18 months in. Anything I'd change? Not really. I try not to live like that. I don't really, when I look back, I don't really have any regrets because,
That's good.
I've messed up a lot of times, but that's how I've learned. I've always like thrown myself at things, gone for it, messed up along the way. But I feel like I wouldn't be half as wise if I am wise as I am now if it wasn't for those experiences.
And what are you planning on? Because I know with therapy and trauma and stuff, with all of the knowledge in the world, your kids are still going to have trauma from like the way that they interpret things. So how are you planning on raising Bonnie in the future, so your daughter, and in this like toxic world with everything that's going on, how are you keeping her kind of like in somewhat of a bubble away from that?
Yeah, it's very difficult. But at the moment, she's only 18 months years old, so we have a lot of kind of like control and a lot of time with her. But obviously, once she starts school, then you got a lot more outside influences, and yeah, the way the world's going, I don't like a lot of it. It is concerning. So we've talked about loads of things really. We've talked about going to Steiner School. We've talked about kind of having a community of homeschoolers. We kind of work together and share responsibility of teaching the kids. We even talked about moving abroad and living off grid. So yeah, we kind of flutter between things all the time. So yeah, I haven't really decided yet.
Okay.
But between us, we've got a lot of sort of knowledge. I think if we build a strong relationship with her, which we are,
Yeah.
I'm hoping she'll respect us and kind of listen to some degree to what we're saying.
Yeah, there are a lot of options. So it's just kind of weighing up the pros and cons, and you've still got plenty of time. Is homeschooling, so in your area, is that something that's people are into or not so much? Is it not like the norm?
No, it's not a big thing around here. So yeah, just in case your listeners don't know, I live near Wolverhampton, like in between Wolverhampton and Dudley. And we always seem to be like 10 years behind everyone else. So yeah.
Sounds a bit like where I am.
Okay.
Or
Where are
just
you
like
again?
England in general. I'm just outside of Manchester.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's kind of like that everywhere. But I didn't
Yeah.
know about Steiner School until you two were talking about it. So for anyone else who doesn't know what that is, can you share a little bit more?
Yeah, so there's a really good video on Gaia. I don't know if you can see it anywhere else, but it's a two-part series about kind of Steiner, his life, and his schools. But they're just taught in a very different way. So they say that the kind of programming period for children is 0 to 7. That's when your brain's in sort of a theta wave state, which is what we try and get to into meditation. So yeah, he believes like no tech, no actual sort of proper traditional learning until after 7, because otherwise you get too much stuck in your logical brain. I think it's the right side of your brain. So they're taught a lot more through play and song, like they sing and dance and clap. They're taught how to grow their own veg, so they grow vegetables organically on the site. They eat their own veg, so they have that full process from start to finish. They learn practical skills like carpentry, things like that from a young age. I'm not sure about languages actually. I didn't ask that, but they might start languages earlier, which I wish I would have done as a kid. So yeah, it's just a different approach.
But these schools are very few and far between, aren't there? Do you know how many there are in the UK?
No, I'm not sure.
But you've
There's
got
one
one. Have
not
you got
far
one near
from
to
us.
you?
Yeah, there's one in Stourbridge, which is
Okay.
about a 20-minute drive
All
from
right.
us.
Okay. Nice. I might look if there's like a find a Steiner school near me link, and I'll put it below.
Yeah.
But I've not seen that documentary. So that's that Gaia website.
Yeah, Gaia TV. You have to subscribe to it, but you might be able to find it somewhere else. I'll have a little look if you want.
Yeah. Cool. And I also want to ask, another one of your passions and things that you do for work is cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I don't know how to, like what's the difference between the two. But yeah, can you educate us a little bit more on what that is, why you're so passionate about it, and how you see the future in terms of like money and finance? Because I've heard like we're going to more of this cashless society. Like, is that part of it? Is that a good thing?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so my journey with that started at the start of lockdown, because I was actually working in the corporate world then, in marketing. So I got put onto furlough. I was like, God, I really don't want to go back to my job, so I needed a way to kind of get out. I was researching loads of different things, and then Bitcoin, I came across that, and I became quite obsessed with it. Like I joined an academy. I'm not as into it now because I'm focusing on my festivals, but at the time found it fascinating because I kind of was a truth seeking, if you like. back in like 2009, which was kind of like a semi-awakening in itself. When I started to research how the world kind of truly operates behind the scenes. So I've always been that way inclined. So when I saw Bitcoin as like an alternative monetary system, I'm surprised it took me that long to kind of find it, really, because it started in about 2009, 2010. So yeah, a lot of people don't understand how the banking system works, but literally they can print money out of thin air. So like the inflation we're experiencing right now, for example, during the lockdowns, they were giving money out left, right, and centre to businesses. There was 20 billion to track and trace. And this doesn't just happen through COVID, but obviously it was a good excuse to kind of print a load more money. So what happens is all the other money that's in circulation, or your savings, your salary and whatever, is suddenly worth less because you've flooded the money system with extra money. A way to explain it I sometimes use, which is really simple, is like, imagine if you're on an island and the currency was bananas, and I know everyone had one tree in the garden, whatever. And then another monkey come over and he'd learn how to grow loads of trees. So suddenly everyone had loads of trees. So whereas one banana might have bought you like a house before, now it can't even buy you a front door because it's been flooded. So that's what's happened. And Bitcoin is a kind of opposition to that because it's hard coded into the software. Sorry if I'm boring you.
No, I've wanted to learn about this for like years, but never had the headspace. So you've got me focused. So give it your all.
Yeah. So there'll only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Like no one can tamper with that. If they did, it wouldn't be Bitcoin anymore. It would be something else. So at the moment, there's like 18 million in circulation, and then the miners kind of bring more into circulation throughout time. So it's not perfect. Obviously, the people that invested in it earlier are going to do way better than people that invested later and all the rest of it. But if you've got that kind of libertarian mindset where you want to be free from government, it's a good alternative to fiat money, government money, central banks money. So yeah.
And yeah, what about this like cashless society thing? Like, is that the goal, do you think?
Yeah, I think they're working on what's called central bank digital currencies. And it's actually really concerning and dangerous, because what they can do with it, if it goes through, is they can make it programmable, which they can't do. I know like a lot of money is electronic now anyway, but this can be programmed differently. So it could be, say, I don't know, you don't want to take your jab, but they could be like, well, we're going to block you from using your funds unless you do this, unless you do that. So if I do get the chance to talk about it, I will, because I think it's something we really need to resist. They're trying to roll it out in China, which says it all, because they're very authoritarian in the style. And Rishi Sunak's talked about it. I think that's why he ended up getting in, because he's massively pushed and talked about this for a couple of years now. So I think he's the guy that wanted to kind of roll this out. So I won't be surprised if it happens in the next couple of years. I think it could happen quite soon.
That's quite scary.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know. It might not be that sinister. But obviously, you've got to think about these things and think about where we want society to go.
I know who I'll be coming to for advice if that does happen. Your inbox will be flooded from the listeners.
If I had advice now, I'd say get a little bit of Bitcoin and a little bit of gold. At least so you've got something alternative if they ever did block you out your funds.
Okay, good to know.
Gold, go ahead. Just to add on that, gold, they're called God's money, by the way.
Okay.
Because obviously it's what nature's give us.
And cryptocurrency is just kind of like the general term, just to clarify.
Yeah, cryptocurrency is the currency itself. So Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. But there's been loads of scams. You've got to be really careful. You can make money in it if you know what you're doing. But really, it's a bit of a casino, the other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, the way it's set up, is, the real deal, in my opinion.
Cool. So I want to ask you a few more questions before we finish up about you personally, so that we can get to know you a little bit more. So the first one is a book recommendation that you have. So this could be on any of the different subjects that you've covered, the meditation stuff, the transition from veganism, parenthood, anything like that.
Book, okay. I'm not a massive book reader. I prefer documentaries.
Or a documentary. We can switch it for you.
Ooh. Again, this is on Gaia, if any of you got Gaia. Ram Dass, Becoming Nobody.
Ah,
He's probably my favourite spiritual guru.
okay.
He's just a cool guy. He was like a big scientist. He went to one of the main unis in America. Then he experimented with acid. When I say experimented, like he was taking outrageously high doses and really experimenting with it. And then he went over to India, met this guru, quit the acid and whatever. But yeah, he went around the kind of world doing talks and stuff. Yeah, really, really interesting guy. It's all about like becoming nobody, letting go of the ego.
Yeah.
And he's just got a really, cool personality. He's got a good sense of humour as well.
I'm gonna have to re-download. I think I've used Gaia. I think they did like a 30-day free trial years ago. So I signed up for that and watched as much as I could in that time. But I'm guessing there's so many more things come out recently, so I'll have to resubscribe. What's your go-to breakfast if you're a breakfast person?
Go-to breakfast, I always have porridge with banana, chia seeds, blueberries, blob of peanut butter. And before that, I have a hot lemon, so squeeze a lemon.
Yeah.
And I have ginger and a teaspoon of honey.
Nice. Very good. Nutritionist
Nice way to
approved.
Nice. I'm glad. I was thinking you were going to rip me then and say you need bacon and sausage.
Oh no, maybe alongside, but you might start to pile on the pounds.
Yeah, on a Sunday I do have a full English sometimes. My little treat.
But yeah, you got your nice balance there, and could hopefully keep you sustained for a few hours. And is there something that you do daily? So I'm guessing meditation is one of them, but is there anything else that you want to share that helps keep you kind of healthy and balanced?
Yeah, so it's similar to meditation, but a breathing technique I'm doing at the moment. So you got to build it slowly, but you're breathing through one side, one nostril. For say, I don't know, you could start off with like 5 seconds, hold for 5, release for 5, and then kind of build that up. So at the moment I'm doing 15 seconds in, hold for 10, out for 15. But I want to try and slowly progress that. Because I'm reading this book at the moment, and they reckon there's people out there that can do one breath in and out in 5 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So that's what you're aiming for?
Not necessarily. I'm going to see how it goes, because it's already a bit of a challenge now. But actually it's surprising once you like go up a level. Once you've done it for about a week, it starts to become a lot more comfortable.
And that's called alternate nostril breathing, isn't it? I think I've done that before. Yeah. So you can like Google, YouTube, kind of the technique. And what about meditation? Do you have a specific style that you love? Is there any apps that you like, or is it really just like on your own breathing?
When I started out, I did a lot on Insight Timer, like guided meditation, because I kind of felt like I didn't know what I was doing otherwise. So the first couple of years I was meditating, I did that. But then I went out to India to do a teacher training course in 2019, and that was kind of more Hindu background. And this year I did one on Zen meditation, which is Japanese background. So at the moment I'm doing a lot of the Zen stuff, which is actually really kind of basic and simple, but I think they're the hardest ones and the most rewarding ones for your focus. So it could literally just be focusing on your belly rising and falling, but kind of getting lost in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you into yoga these days? Or not? Have you ever been into it?
No, not
really?
so much. That is a goal actually for this year, to do a lot more yoga. I did a session yesterday just because I had a football match Sunday and played for a while, so I was like aching from head to toe. So I did a yoga session yesterday, but must have been my first one in about a year. Yeah.
Are you feeling a bit sore today then?
Yeah, I'm still feeling it today. Yeah, the football and the yoga together now.
Oh yeah.
So.
Nice
I mean,
combo though.
yeah, that's it. I'm in a vets league now. I feel well old, over 30s football league.
Is that what they call the vets
Yeah,
league?
it's
Oh my
veterans
god,
over
no.
30. It's quite offensive, really.
Crazy. I know. I was talking to my mum the other day and she was talking about her pregnancy. She had me when she was 32 and she was classed as a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah,
Like that is
God.
insane. They were
That's
having
like pretty
babies in like
average
their
now.
mid-40s, so that's
Yeah,
mad.
yeah. I was reading up actually the averages of children, kind of random thing that I look up the other day. And I think for a first child now, for a woman, it's like 29.
All right.
Mm.
Oh god, that's next year for me.
Oh, there you go.
We shall see. No, I say like 30 plus is my goal.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you never know. You never know what the universe has in store.
Oh no, well yeah, me and Cassie had only been together 9 months
Mhm.
when Cassie got pregnant.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned, but
Mhm.
yeah, it was the
It was
best
meant to
thing
be.
that happened. That's it. I'm glad now. We should have started younger now. I'd
Oh,
have about 4, but
I love
we'll
that.
see.
Oh, you still got plenty of time.
Yeah, potentially. See how the second one goes first.
Amazing. So thank you for joining me finally on the podcast. And I'm going to see you like in person in the new, well, we are in the new year now. So is it the wedding first, then the event, the festival?
Yeah,
You're getting married.
spring's crazy for me. I've got my stag do March, and
I
the
know, it'd probably
wedding's
be a
start
bit
of
full
April.
on.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
wedding's like Easter Sunday, isn't it?
Easter Sunday, Himley Hall event end of April, and then the camp out at the end of May. So yeah,
Fun. So you'll need
exciting.
a nice break at the end of the year. But
Yeah,
probably not
definitely.
knowing you.
Nah,
We'll be on to the next.
probably yeah.
next
Well, we are going to
project.
go on our honeymoon in June, so that'll
Lovely.
be some nice downtime.
Amazing.
We're going to go to Italy. And we might do a little one in South Wales as well. Little trip down there.
Very exciting. So yeah, you've got a full on year, but yeah, it's going to be a good one for you. And like I said, I'd love, and you would love people to come and join at the festival. So check out the links and everything below. Follow Alex's brand and company on social media for updates and everything. And yeah, hopefully we'll all see you there.
Awesome. And yeah, before I forget, we're also going to do a discount code for Vivian's listeners. So if you put Viva10 at the checkout, you'll get 10% off your ticket. Also, great chance to meet Vivian.
Yes, exactly.
Some of you have never met her, so
yeah, we can
you'll be
all meet
hanging
in person.
around, enjoying
and
it as well.
I'll be doing the talks, but I'll also be like hovering around, doing some fun things myself. So yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Cool.
Alex.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would love for you to leave me a rating and review on your podcast app, as this helps to support the show and it allows it to reach more people with this valuable information. Come and say hi over on Instagram. I'm at Viva Natural Health. And if you haven't already, check out my website, vivanaturalhealth.co.uk, for tons more free resources and to discover how I could support you further. I currently offer one-on-one consultation packages if you want my top level support, then more affordable group programs and self-paced online courses. So there really is something for everyone. If you're ready to change and get some answers but aren't sure which option would be best, take that first step today and apply for a free enrollment call on my website, and we'll discuss the best steps for you to take in order to achieve hormonal harmony. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode.